Hello, little one. It's time for you to lay down with your favorite stuffy. Snuggle up in your favorite blankie. Close your eyes and listen. Today we'll be reading If I Ran the Zoo by Dr. Suess. It's a pretty good zoo, said young Gerald McGrew. And the fellow who runs it seems proud of it too. But if I ran the zoo, said young Gerald McGrew, I'd make a few changes. That's just what I'd do. The lions and tigers and that sort of stuff that they have here now are not quite good enough. You see things like these in just any old zoo. They're awfully old-fashioned. I want something new. So I'd open up each cage, I'd unlock every pen, let the animals go and start over again. And somehow or other, I think I could find some beast of a much more unusual kind. A 4-footed lion is not much of a beast. The one in thy zoo will have 10 feet at least, 5 legs on the left and 5 more on the right. Then people will stare and they'll say, what a sight! This zookeeper, new keeper, Gerald's quite keen. That's the gold-darnest lion that I've ever seen. My new zoo, McGrew Zoo, will make people talk. My new zoo, McGrew will make people gawk at the strangest odd creatures that ever did walk. I'll get for my zoo a new sort of hen who roosts in another hen's top knot, and then another one roosts in his top knot, and another in his, and another in his, and so forth and upwards and onwards. Gee whiz! But that's just a start. I'll do better than that. They'll see me next day in my zookeeper's hat, coming into the zoo with an elephant cat. They'll be so surprised they'll all swallow their gum. They'll ask, when they see my strange animals come, where do you suppose he gets things like that? His animals all have such very odd faces. I'll bet he must hunt them in rather odd places. And that's what I'll do, said young Gerald McGrew. If you want to catch beasts you don't see every day, you have to go places quite out of the way. You have to go places no other can get to. You have to get cold and you have to get wet too. Up past the North Pole, where the frozen wind squeals, I'll go and I'll hunt in my Skiggle-mobile and bring back a family of what do you know? And that's how my new zoo, McGrew Zoo, will grow. I'll hunt in the mountains of Zumba-Matand with helpers who'll wear their eyes at a slant and capture a fine fluffy bird called a bustard who eats only custard and sauce made from mustard, and also a very fine beast called a flustered, who eats only mustard with sauce made of custard. I'll catch 'em in caves and I'll catch 'em in brooks, I'll catch 'em in crannies, I'll catch 'em in nooks that you don't read about in geography books. I'll catch 'em in countries that no one can spell, like the country of Motta for Potter for Pell. In a country like that, if a hunter is clever, he'll hunt up some beast that you never saw ever. I'll load up 5 boats with a family of jotes whose feet are like cow and wear squirrel skin coats and sit down like dogs but have voices like goats, expecting they can't sing very high notes. And then I'll go down to the winds of Nantucket and capture a family of lunks in a bucket. Then people will say, "Now I like that boy heaps. His new zoo, McGrew Zoo, is growing by heaps. He captures them wild and he captures them meek. He captures them slim and he captures them sleek. What do you suppose he'll capture next week?" I'll capture one tiny, I'll capture one cute. I'll capture a deer that no hunter could shoot. A deer that's so nice he could sleep in your bed, if it weren't for those horns he had on his head. And speaking of horns that are just a bit queer, I'll bring back a very odd family of deer, a father, a mother, 2 sisters, a brother, whose horns are connected from one to the other, whose horns are so mixed they can't tell them apart, can't tell where they end and can't tell where they start. Each deer's mighty puzzle he's never yet found, if his horns are hers or the other way round. I'll capture them fat and I'll capture them scrawny. I'll capture a scraggle-foot mulligatawny, a high-stepping animal fast as the wind, from the blistering sands of the desert of Zend. This beast is the beast that the brave chieftain ride when they want to go fast to find some place to hide. A mulligatawny is fine for my zoo, and so is the chieftain. I'll bring one back too. In the far western part of southeast North Dakota lives a very fine animal called the iota. But I'll capture one who is even much finer in the northeast west part of South Carolina. When people see him, they will say, "Now by thunder, this new zoo, McGrew Zoo, is really a wonder." Most beasts are quite friendly, but still, in some lands, some beasts are too dangerous to catch with bare hands. For those that are ugly and vicious and mean, I'll build a bad animal catching machine. It's rather expensive to build such a kit, but with it a hunter can never be bit. A zoo should have bugs, so I'll capture a thurl, whose legs are snelled up in a terrible snow. Then I'll go out and I'll capture some chugs, some keen shooter, mean shooter, bean shooter bugs. I'll go to the African island of Yerka, and I'll bring back a tizzle-top tufter mazurka, a kind of canary with a quite tall throat. His neck is so long, if he swallows an oat for breakfast for the first day of April, they say, it has to go down such a very long way that it gets to his stomach on the 15th of May. I'll bag a big bug who is very surprised, a fella who has a propeller for rising and zooming around, making cross-country hops from Texas to Boston with only 2 stops. Now that sort of thing for a bug is just tops. When I've caught him, and the next thing you know, I'll go and I'll capture a wild tic-tac-toe. With X's that win and zeros that lose, he'll look mighty good in the zoo of McGrew's. I'll bring back a gusset, a gherkin, a gasket, and also a gooch from the wilds of Nantasket. And 8 Persian princes will carry the basket, but what their names are, I don't know, so I don't ask it. In a cave in cartoons lives a beast called an atch that no other hunter's been able to catch. He's hidden for years in the cave with a pout, and no one's been able to make him come out. But I'll coax him out with a wonderful meal that's cooked by the cooks in my cookamobile. They'll fix up a dish that's just to his taste, 3 chicken croquettes made with library paste, then sprinkled with peanut shucks, pickled and spiced them, baked at 600 degrees, then iced. It's mighty hard to cook up such a feast, but that's how the Newzoo McGroozoo gets beasts. I'll go to the faraway mountains of Tobsk. Near the river Nobsk, I'll bring back an obsk. A kind of a thingamabobsk that only eats rhubarb and corn on the Kobsk. Then people will flock to my zoo in a mobsk. McGrew, they will say, does a wonderful jobsk. He hunts with such vim, and he hunts with such vigour. His new zoo, McGrewzoo, gets bigger and bigger. And, speaking of birds, there's a Russian Palusky, whose headsky is redsky and belly is bluesky. I'll get one of them for my Zooski McGrewski. Then the whole town will gasp, why this boy never sleeps. No keeper before ever kept what he keeps. There's no telling what that young fellow will do, and then just to show them, I'll sail to Katroo and bring back an Itkach, a Preep, and a Prue, a Nurgle, a Nerd, and a Seeksucker too. I'll hunt in the jungles of Hippo no Hungus, and I'll bring back a flock of wild Bippernobungus. The Bippernobungus from Hipponohungus are better than those down in Dippanodungus, and smarter than those out in Nippanonungus. And that's why I'll catch 'em in Hipponohungus, instead of those other Nungus and Dungus. And people will say when they see these bips bounding, this zookeeper's new keeper's simply astounding. He travels so far that you think he would drop. When do you suppose this young fellow will stop? Stop? Well, I should, but I won't stop until I've captured a Fizzimadillimadil, the world's biggest bird in the island of Gork, who only eats pine trees and spits out the bark. And boy, when I get him back home to my park, the whole world will say, young McGrew's made his mark. He's built a zoo bigger than Noah's whole ark. These wonderful, marvellous beasts that he chooses have made him the greatest of all the McGrewses. Wow, they'll all cheer, what this zoo must be worth. It's the goldantest zoo on the face of the earth. Yes, that's what I'd do, said young Gerald McGrew. I'd make a few changes if I ran the zoo. The end. Good night, little ones, and sweet dreams.